Why it's always best to stay silent against a narcissist. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm grateful for each and every one of you tuning in today. Our topic for discussion is one that holds profound significance. Why your silence always wins. It's a notion worth pondering. Let me think. Before we dive into this enlightening discussion, I want to extend a heartfelt request. If you find value in our content, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing with others. Your support means the world to us and helps our community grow. Now let's delve into the power of your silence. In the clutches of a narcissistic relationship, your voice may have been stifled, your autonomy suppressed. But as you emerged from that challenging chapter, you discovered a remarkable truth. Your silence is not weakness but strength. It's a superpower that empowers you to reclaim your agency and prioritize your well-being above all else. In this video, we'll explore how embracing your silence can be a game changer, not just in narcissistic dynamics, but in every facet of life. So join me as we unravel the transformative potential of finding solace in silence. Let's talk about dealing with narcissists for a moment. So when you decided to cut off all contact, blocking them, deleting them, and cutting ties with anyone associated with them, what were you really doing? You were sending a clear message to everyone involved that you were done communicating with them. It was a way to conserve your energy, hit the reset button, and set up some boundaries. Plus, it kept them from knowing anything about your life, your whereabouts, your activities, your relationships, because narcissists love gathering info to use against people later on. They rely on their flying monkeys and enablers to spy on you and others. But here's the thing. When you realize that your silence is actually a winning move, it changes the game. Narcissists aren't used to people standing up to them like this. It's a boundary that says, I'm making positive changes, and I'm not broadcasting them to the world. You start planning your exit from the toxic relationship, taking your time, staying patient and strong, and committing to your own well-being. And through it all, your silence becomes your secret weapon for victory. So, when you're plotting your escape from a narcissistic relationship, and quick note here, you gotta keep that plan hush-hush. You never know who might spill the beans and turn out to be one of those flying monkeys. But once you're out of that toxic situation, you start to realize just how much it messed you up. You had to slow down, process everything, deal with old wounds, maybe even talk to a therapist, write in a journal, meditate, watch videos, read books, the whole 9 yards. You come to terms with the fact that this relationship was the toughest thing you've ever dealt with, and it nearly knocked you out for the count. But guess what? You're still standing, and you're soaking up all the wisdom and tools from the community and channels like this one. And that's a big win. See, your silence is your superpower because back when you were with the narcissist, you were constantly walking on eggshells, playing the unpaid therapist, apologizing for everything, and defending yourself every darn day. And they knew it. They knew exactly how to keep you trapped in that cycle of devaluation. But eventually you broke free. You realized that narcissism is a real problem. And being in any kind of relationship with a narcissist is a recipe for disaster. They can flip on you in a heartbeat, and they usually do. In a narcissistic relationship, they'll always offer something from you. They'd want to drain you dry, taking everything from your time and energy to your love, money, and possessions. They'd feel entitled to whatever you have and refuse to work for anything themselves. Lazy, cowardly, and shallow, they'll mimic your ideas and desires, making it seem like they're on the same page as you. But in reality, they're just using you to get what they want. Remember how much you lost while you were with them? Your hobbies, your friends, your health, your money, all gone because they kept pushing you down with their abuse. But back then, you didn't know what you were dealing with. Narcissism 101 wasn't exactly taught in school. Now though, you're learning the ropes, understanding that some people, especially narcissists, never had your best interests at heart and never will. These folks thrive on making you react, and boy, did they know how to push your buttons. Remember those texts that made you drop everything to respond? You'd practically write them a novel detailing your whereabouts and plans for the day. And when you got home, It was a never-ending list of chores and errands, all for their benefit. They put you in that position deliberately, making you believe in the facade they presented at the beginning of the relationship. We've come to understand that narcissists often put on a facade to lure people into relationships. That's why, at the beginning, you probably spill your guts about everything. Your life, your relationships, your health, your dreams, you name it. And they ate it all up, storing every detail away to use against you later like ammunition. As the relationship progressed, you likely noticed that you weren't being heard anymore. The narcissist didn't want you to have a voice, so they bombarded you with abuse, gaslighting, silent treatment, stonewalling, and more. You found yourself just existing, not really living or thriving. You were stuck in a cycle you didn't even recognize because, let's face it, they don't teach you this stuff in school. The cycle usually goes like this. They love bomb you, make you feel like you're on cloud nine. Then comes the devaluation stage where they tear you down, discard you, suck you back in with another love bomb. And then it starts all over again. It's a vicious cycle, and it's crucial to recognize it for what it is. One thing you should never do is accept a hoover. That's when they try to suck you back into the relationship after a discard. It's a sign that you haven't healed fully and that you're willing to go through the same cycle again. Trust me, it won't end well. The first time was bad enough. The second time will be worse. It's only when you truly get the message that you can break free by going no contact and blocking them from your life. So why your silence is your strongest weapon? Why it's your secret to winning every time? Picture this. I'm out here in the woods, surrounded by chirping birds, lush greenery, and the promise of summer just around the corner. This is where the real magic happens, in the present moment, right here, right now. It's about slowing down, taking a breath, and embracing the simple joy of being alive. It's about not having to explain yourself to anyone on a Saturday morning, not having to justify your plans or your time to anyone else. It's about reclaiming your autonomy and prioritizing your own well-being over constantly bending to someone else's demands. It's about not anxiously waiting for someone else to reach out, not sitting by the phone wondering if it'll be a call from Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. It's about refusing to be financially exploited, refusing to let your other relationships be torn apart by someone else's manipulation. It's about standing up against parental alienation and fighting for your right to see your own children. Maybe you've been caught up in these situations before. Maybe you're still struggling with some of them. But the key message here is that your silence speaks volumes, not just to the narcissist, but to everyone around you. Just because someone sends you a message or tries to get in touch doesn't mean you owe them a response. It's a hard lesson to learn, but one that's essential for reclaiming your power and setting boundaries. Let's say you're dealing with a nasty email from someone, maybe even a narcissist, or perhaps it's happening right now. Do you really have to respond to that email? Nope, not really. Should you? Probably best not to. But what you definitely shouldn't do is read it and then fire back with a long-winded response, telling them off or getting into a heated argument. Trust me, it won't do you any favors. It'll just make things worse, and you'll likely regret hitting send later on. That's why I'm all about slowing things down. Take that nasty email, for instance. Maybe it's actually a text from someone you know, and they said something that rubbed you the wrong way. Are you going to fire back right away, getting all worked up and giving them a piece of your mind? Nah, that's old school. We've moved on to a better way of handling things, responding, not reacting. And sometimes, you know what? You don't even have to respond at all. Why? Because your silence speaks volumes. It's a superpower, really. When you're dealing with someone toxic, like a narcissist or an energy vampire, being around them can feel like they're draining the life out of you. You can't even be yourself because you're walking on eggshells, afraid of how they'll react if you speak up. Sound familiar? That's what it was like when you were in that narcissistic relationship, reacting to every little thing because you didn't know what else to do. Now that you're gaining wisdom and using the tools available to you, you're realizing the power of your silence. You're free to do whatever you want. You can go out, maybe to the store or an event, and just observe without feeling the need to call anyone out or share your thoughts. you can simply keep to yourself, and that's okay. We're all on a journey of healing, each at our own pace. Some of us have already reached a level of indifference, while others are still on the way. It's a path of calmness, patience, and silence. You'll find yourself becoming more centered and focused as you navigate through it. Along the way, you'll learn to set boundaries and carefully choose who you allow into your life. As you continue on this journey, you'll notice changes. Your communication with others might decrease as you prioritize your well-being. You'll surround yourself with people who truly support you and let go of those who don't. Eventually, you may even need to block some of them out entirely. But remember, it's all part of the process of healing and moving forward. So, let's talk about healing. When I talk about the healing path, I want you to understand why the narcissist targeted you. They saw something in you, something bright and beautiful, and they wanted to take that away. They may have tried to pull you back in with hoovering tactics, or they might have worked hard to keep their true self hidden from you. This isn't just any old breakup where you can brush it off and move on. It's deeper than that. You need to take your time, process what happened, and understand that healing takes time. It's a journey, and it's a part of your story. But remember, the time you spend with the narcissist is just one chapter in your life. Maybe it lasted a short while, or maybe it felt like a lifetime. Perhaps the narcissist was even a family member. But eventually, you'll break free from that cycle of abuse. You'll realize that your silence is powerful, and it's always been a tool for you to reclaim your strength. Think about it. Maybe you've distanced yourself from a narcissistic parent or sibling. Perhaps you've stopped attending family gatherings because every time you did, you were bombarded with criticism and questions about your life choices. It's all part of reclaiming your peace and finding your own path forward. They would bombard you with criticism and drama, trying to control you and make you feel small. But one day, it clicked for you. You realized you didn't have to subject yourself to that anymore. You decided to love them from a distance, but you weren't going to put yourself in that toxic environment anymore. That's the power of your silence. It's empowering because it lets you take control of the situation. It's a reminder that you don't have to engage in drama or manipulation to assert yourself. Remember, silence is valuable. It sends a powerful message that you won't tolerate mistreatment or disrespect. And the lesson you learn from being in that narcissistic relationship is a valuable one. Not everyone has your best interest at heart, especially narcissists. Thanks for watching the video. I enjoyed making it, and I hope you found it helpful. Wherever you are in the world, know that you're not alone. Take care and remember to let your silence speak for you. It's a tool that can help you navigate difficult situations and live your life free from narcissistic influence. Stay focused and stay strong. I love you all, and I'll talk to you again soon.